What is the supply of Tyler Hobbs' Fidenza collection? A, 420. B, 999. C, 1,000. D, 10,000.
Two bored apes talking NFTs, DeFi, and some random stuff. Two bored apes talking NFTs, DeFi, and some random stuff.
Welcome to episode 73 or 74. I think it's 73.
74.
74 of Two Bored Apes. I'm your host, Jamie. I'm here with my friend and co-host, Roy. Roy, as per usual, I'm curious. How are you?
I'm doing well. We're off to a strong start. Episode 73
Very strong.
3/4. Your video just got blurry. I think it's good now. I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. Like the NFT crypto market seems kind of slow.
Have you seen these cute Totoros I got in Japan?
I have not, but they are very cute.
Thank you.
God, we didn't talk. Did we talk much? We did talk about Japan.
We did talk about Japan.
A little bit.
Yukatsu. Oh my god, that was so good.
We're gonna get into food later. I think we have a lot to talk about on the food front.
Oh yeah, Roy's got a big diet update for everybody. Stay tuned.
The Two Bored Apes is slowly turning into a non-NFT.
It's not
podcast.
that slow. Is it that slow?
I'm well. How are you doing, Jamie?
I'm good. I'm looking at our news of the week, and let me count them here. We got 1, 2, 3 of them have to do with ostensibly what the podcast is supposed to be about, and then 4 of them are just completely extemporaneous things about our life and whatnot. So,
and two of the 3 that are meant to be have just question marks at the end. As like, should we? Is it even newsworthy?
I think they both kind of are, but the fact that we're not at NFTNYC does diminish how newsworthy it is. It's also not because it's not a relevant event if we're not there, but we don't have much to talk about.
We're not there. Let's
also I was going to jump into that kind of. It does seem like a lot of these events they'll let anybody speak, and it seems like it's mostly speakers that are not actually germane to the space in almost any way whatsoever.
Definitely true for NFTNYC.
Right?
I think it's less for like basically every other event. Every other event is a lot, but like they'll have like 1,000 speakers, which is just ludicrous.
It's crazy.
Literally anyone who wants to speak can speak. All right.
The actual big news, though. Let's talk news of the week. The Shanghai upgrade to Ethereum is live. Is it live?
It is as of sometime in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, it's basically. When Ethereum went from proof of work to proof of stake, you got the ability to stake ETH in a contract, and you needed to do 32 ETH to have a validator node or whatever, but you couldn't unstake the ETH until some future upgrade. That future upgrade is called the Shanghai Upgrade, and it is now a thing. So people that have been staking their ETH can now unstake their ETH if they so please.
Yeah, and it wasn't like when ETH moved from proof of stake to proof of work, the merge, that's when everyone thinks of that happening. But people were actually able to stake all the way back in December 2020.
Yeah, like in the rocket pool and stuff. There's been staked that for a long time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. People in 2020 just locked up a bunch of ETH, and only now in 2023 are they like, oh, I can start to get some of it out.
But there was not really a point to doing it before it went over to proof of stake, as far as I understand.
It was to secure the network, to like prove that it worked, and I think that to receive like a small percentage return as well. But the main reason I believe most people did it is because they believed in Ethereum and were like, hey, yes, I will be a validator to prove that this concept works. If we get enough of us, great. That's what happened. There was a lot of speculation coming up to this event of like, because like 15% of the total supply of ETH has been locked up, which is a tremendous amount to just unlock and come on the market. And people were like wondering, oh, is this going to be a big dump event? Are people who've had their ETH staked for so long going to come and just like dump it? And I didn't think that was going to happen. I think that the type of people that just lock up.
The reason it's locked up is very different from the normal big
traders.
Selling events of unlocks, where
Yeah.
people never had a chance to not have their stuff locked. These are people that voluntarily locked.
Yeah.
Um,
And
without a super hard date in the future as to when they'd be able to even unlock.
yeah, and the market has sort of shown that it did not dump. It actually has been pumping over the last day. It's up like 6%, almost at 2K ETH. Maybe we are.
It almost seems like it would be an opportunity for more people to lock up their F, because now the people that didn't have quite the confidence to do it preemptively when there was no ability to unstake can now go, okay, well, now that I can unstake it, I'm willing to stake it.
That's a really good point. I hadn't thought of that, but you're right. I think people who, especially like go back X amount of months when there wasn't even a date in mind, like
right.
People that staked more recently probably knew that, April 2023 they could unstake. But yeah, I think there'll be more people now going, oh, it actually works. We can get our money out. I'll be an ETH staker. I'll put up 32 ETH and do good things.
Yeah, it has been a thing. I don't know how much of this discourse you've sort of seen, but the degree to which, in theory, right, this stuff is all about decentralization, but to make it easier to do all of this, and specifically for people to do it with less than 32 ETH, which is what you would need to have a full node yourself, there's been these pools that people have staked through, basically. And the amount of capital, the amount of F that they've actually attracted has made them sort of big centralized entities within the network, which is sort of, I don't know, it's sort of to be expected in some ways, but is also antithetical to the biggest ideal of what we're trying to achieve, I guess.
Yeah, it's centralizing what's meant to be decentralized, but it's also a free open market, and code is law, and people put these things up, and people are like, oh, I'll deposit a few ETH, and all of a sudden a handful of pools have a large percentage of the
Rocket Pool is the only one in my mind that I can think of by name. But I again, to the point about being able to unstake, because in those, you were putting your F up and you were getting basically a coin called staked F that you could actually still use. So it was sort of a derivative in a way as to what you would get, and that allowed it to be a little bit more tradable and fungible. But now that we're in a situation again where you can actually legitimately stake and legitimately unstake, it does seem like there's an opportunity for more people to just do it on their own.
Are you planning on staking at any time in the near future?
I would like to, but I'm certainly not in a position to right now.
You got to win a World Series of Poker tournament.
Yeah, something. I have to sell my crypto stuff to play the poker, to do well in the poker, to get the crypto stuff back. I'm doing a lot of robbing Peter to pay Paul lately. It's annoying.
I have no idea what reference that is, but
you've never heard this? Wow, that's crazy.
Robbing Peter to
Peter to pay
robbing
Paul.
Peter to pay Paul. Okay, I thought you were just saying two people's names, like Robin Peter,
Peter, and Paul. No, have you heard that expression at least, or
I don't
you're
think
only
so.
just inferring? That's crazy. I feel like it's a very popular one. Yeah, it makes pretty good sense.
Yeah. Anything else to chat about on the Shanghai upgrade?
Nope. Cool. Shanghai, very big city.
It is a big city. I would like to visit someday.
When I went to Japan recently, I was there's like a website where you put in two city names or whatever, and it'll overlay the maps of them on them and tell you how much bigger one is than the other. And the degree to which Tokyo was bigger than like every other city I could put in was crazy, and was sort of impressive to the people that I was going with, until I did Shanghai, which is like significantly bigger than it. I can't even comprehend that, because we went to a couple observation decks in Tokyo where you can get a 360-degree view of the city, and it goes on so far in every single direction. And to think that there's
almost
cities,
all buildings, right?
Yeah, cities are very full of buildings, correct.
Well, I'm like in Australia, you'd have a city that's like a lot of buildings, but then like shortly after, like the city center is like a lot of sprawling suburbs.
Yeah. One of the things too that was sort of interesting about it is the degree to which it was not super centralized. Like if you look in, Manhattan or something like that, you have the skyscrapers in sort of the financial district and whatnot, and it's kind of you can differentiate the neighborhoods by the height of the buildings more so. Whereas in Tokyo, it was just like there's a tall one there, there's a tall one there, and then there's medium ones everywhere. I'm moving around too much for my camera today. It's having a tough time keeping focus
so
on me.
blurry. Speaking of tall buildings, NFT.NYC is happening as we speak this week. Yeah, how about that little segue? You are not there, I am not there, but there's a lot happening there.
Some people are.
Yeah, some people are. I think when it was first announced, 6 months ago, there was a bit of trepidation at the fact that it was being held in April. It was kind of relatively soon compared to the last one. Yuga said
When
they
was
weren't
the
going
last
to do
one?
June last year. So instead of like a full year, it was just creeping up earlier and earlier.
10 months, basically.
Yeah. Yuga said they're not doing Ape Fest, and people were like, is it like, I'm not going to go. It's going to be as good. Last year was kind of like the event itself wasn't good, all the satellite events. But like, in the last couple of weeks, there's been a noticeable swell of momentum. And I guess, it still is enough of a hub that enough people, enough projects are doing stuff there that it's a big deal this week.
Yeah. But we have nothing to report on because we are not there, are we?
Nothing to report on.
You know what I also just realized? My ability to be a host / co-host of this podcast is severely diminished by the fact that I have left Twitter, because that was how I actually kept up to date with what the hell was going on. Now I have nothing.
I forgot that you left Twitter. Oh my God. Yeah, like before we started recording, Jamie's like, what are we going to talk about? I'm like, well, the big thing is the Shanghai Upgrade. And he's like, oh yeah, I've heard some words about that, but I haven't read anything. I don't know.
Yeah, now the closest I get is like my phone will push articles to me, and I can I'll read the headline like everybody. I'm not reading an article. Don't be ridiculous. And so I saw that the Shanghai Upgrade was getting mentioned a lot lately, and that was the extent of it.
Let's talk about that. Like, why? So you uninstalled Twitter, you uninstalled YouTube. What else did you uninstall, and why?
Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Just because the degree to I in theory, when I wake up in the morning, I want to start reading, but instead I was getting my phone and I was just wasting time on those things. And basically that's the beginning and end of it, is that it was just too easy to waste time on them. Twitter has always sort of been a thing, but YouTube and Instagram more recently, where they basically just copied TikTok. Those shorts and reels are so addictive. It's so easy to just waste time. And at some point, you're no longer enjoying yourself. You're just doing another one because it's a slight hit of whatever chemical in your brain. But it's not the activity that you want to be doing, and it's not helping you get closer to any of your goals. So, I guess in theory, I could try and moderate it. And use it a healthy amount instead of an unhealthy amount or whatever. But there's a million people getting paid literally millions of dollars at all these companies trying to design it so that I cannot do that, so rather than have that battle with them, I just uninstalled them for the time being, at least.
Yeah, you've done this before. I feel like you've uninstalled
I've definitely uninstalled Twitter before, because Twitter was always an issue. But like I'm saying here is that these other ones is much more new. I've definitely spent a good amount of time on YouTube before, but there's a difference between watching a couple 6-minute YouTube videos and watching an infinite number of YouTube shorts back to back to back to back to back. And you don't
crazy.
Yeah, and you don't have to select what video I'm going to watch next. You just boom, and then it's another one.
Yeah.
So
and then you start seeing the same ones over and over again, and it's like, I'll just skip
depressing.
this one. Yeah.
It's also funny too. Sorry, the degree to which those algorithms will if you just stop for a couple seconds on something, they're like, he loves this. Yeah. He's so into this, and they just keep feeding you that shit. And it's like, can we subtract that from the algorithm? Because I swear I'm not that interested.
Yeah. God, I hate algorithms, and our lives are just almost entirely ruled by them.
Correct.
Yeah. That was all the NFT stuff we had to talk about. I guess we can chat briefly about the Upload Creative project.
Yeah. We talked about it last week. We both had some level of interest. It happened. The price is very low relative to, art blocks curated in general. So it's a very affordable collection right now.
Yeah, it's around 0.18, 0.19 last I checked.
Yeah, so, I saw that it was basically 0.2.
Yeah.
What was the number that I had? There's
I
another one
guess the
coming up
market is just
called
depleted.
Voyager that's actually sort of similar. Yeah, we were talking before we started recording. There's very little in the way of buyers right now in the market. It does seem like, you know, crypto in general, there's some buying happening for sure because the prices of the coins themselves, at least the big two,
Yeah.
excuse me, have been going up pretty nicely. But as far as NFTs are concerned, there's not a lot um, of buying happening. It's, you know, we talked about it before. We'll talk about it now. We'll talk about it again. But the incentive structures of all of these NFT projects are very ruined basically by the lack of royalties that are happening in the space right now. So it does seem like the ability to get new money into the space will probably be something that happens on the back of new projects that are coming into the space with the idea that our business model is not going to revolve around royalties.
Yeah.
Because it used to be, you know, you had your initial mint money and then you had your royalties to sustain you. And now we just don't have the royalties. And again, almost every major project in the space was designed under the impression that they would have these royalties, and now they basically don't.
Yeah. It's a jarring time, I think, for a lot of projects and for the space in general, just waking up to the reality of this new normal. Yeah, it's tough out there.
And it also kind of like makes Kobe's moniker, so to speak, of NFTs just being shitcoins with pictures. It makes it in a lot of ways more true, which is disappointing to the people that were, you know, NFT proponents that were saying he's wrong. And of course, it's not purely true, and there's huge variety amongst NFTs and all of those caveats. But it's certainly more true now, I would say, than it was before.
Yeah. I've been I have like a Substack article half written that's literally titled "Altcoin with Pictures" because that's exactly what's happening in the market for the most part. There's obviously exceptions. Yeah. Let's talk about the World Series of Poker.
Okay.
When are you heading there?
If I have my phone on me, kill time for a couple seconds because I messaged people recently about what dates I was planning on being there. And
okay.
If I scroll just a little bit.
I'm going to be in America from May 8th to like June.
Well, I have a good basketball update too. Sorry.
Have you found it?
Yeah, I have.
All right.
But you can finish your thing about your.
I'm going to be in America from May 8th till I think the end of May or maybe June 1st.
Okay. And you're going to be in what parts of America? America is a big place. I don't know if you know.
It is a big place. I'll be in LA, probably San Diego, Indianapolis, and then Portland, Oregon, and around there.
Indianapolis, that's for the wedding? Or
that's for VCon. The wedding is near Portland.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have family in Portland.
Excellent.
In case you're wondering. So my plan right now for the World Series, I'll be there approximately June 13th to July 9th, which is the longest World Series stint for me in many years.
Yeah, that's a good, solid month. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous.
Yeah. Well, you can definitely go.
What events are you playing?
So I'm going to play tentatively. I'm playing the main event at the end of it, obviously. Or I guess it's to some people it's not obvious, but to us it's obvious. And then basically all the very big field, small buy-in named events. The World Series has changed a lot, but basically like the Monster Stack, the Millionaire Maker, those types of things I'll be playing. I think there was maybe 5 events before the main event that I was looking at.
Nice. I will be living vicariously through you. What else, Jamie?
The garden is really starting to bloom at this point. I got a lot of stuff sprouting up. I do have a bit of an issue, though. This is so stupid. This is what we're talking about right now. But so... So last year I had a bunch of tomatoes that were not going to ripen before the end of the season. So I just knocked all of them down and buried them in the garden basically and kind of chopped them up so I would allow them basically to just compost into the soil. But that also meant that I have 32,000 tomato seeds in my garden already, and now they're all starting to come up. So I'm gonna have to do
Interesting.
yeah, I'm gonna have to get rid of 98% of those. But it's also I a couple weeks ago started planting my other stuff, and now I have a bunch of little tomato seedlings coming up all in between them. So it's an embarrassment of riches, but it's bad because I cannot grow that many tomatoes, and I don't want to grow that many tomatoes. And you also, a lot of seedlings look identical at the very beginning, so I can't just pluck them out under the assumption necessarily that they're tomatoes until they actually show the what are called the true leaves, and you can see that it's a tomato plant rather than something else.
Such problems. Gardening is awesome though. I miss it.
Yeah, I do love it.
The other day I was looking up like what can I grow here in Dubai, and I was like just about to get really excited into it and be like, all right, I'm gonna start doing stuff. But then I was like, I'm literally going on like a 6-week trip in May, so I should probably not start gardening.
And it would all just be like what, containers on a little outside thing? Or?
Yeah, it would all be containers on our balcony. Things like tomatoes, chilies, peppers.
Yeah, you can do anything
rosemary.
but the cold weather stuff, as far as I can assume.
Yeah. But 'tis not to be, at least for now. On the Zen Daily Show, I end every show by reading out a quote, and yesterday's quote was Cicero's, like, all you need is a library and a garden, or something like that.
Yep.
Paraphrasing, yeah.
I like that one.
It's a
and
great
I pretty
one.
much agree. But this brings us so nicely to something else we wanted to talk about. A garden actually doesn't do you any good right now because you're
Not
only
anymore.
eating animals.
I am 4 days in. This is day 4 of the carnivore diet, which I started on Monday, which is...
So you've just been eating steaks.
Well, not entirely just steaks. I've had one
some
steak,
chicken,
actually. Yeah.
some eggs.
I had some beef patties, like some burger patties. I had a steak, and then I had chicken. Well, no, I haven't had chicken. I had bacon, eggs. Yeah, that's about it. Today we're having some beef ribs.
Rachel's
Saturday
doing it too, or she's just
No,
eating some of it?
she is
A normal person.
like she's a normal person. She has this, but then she'll like add some vegetables and greens and have a
Right.
smoothie in the morning. And yeah, she's normal. I'm extreme.
Abnormal.
So when you were talking earlier about deleting Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, where you could
Right.
do that, or you could try and balance it and control. I was like, that's kind of an analogy with this. Like, I could try and have like more of a
Right.
healthy balance, but I'm just going the extreme route because it's just simple now. I don't have to think about what, should I eat this? Should I not eat? It's very easy and clear. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna eat meat and animal products, and yeah, I feel great. 4 days in.
I suppose.
Yeah. I got my blood tested on Monday, so like, I will get it checked again in a few weeks and just see if I'm...
Was there anything in... I donated blood the other day, and I have like some moderate things that I could talk about regarding that. And so when you said the blood thing, it got me excited that I had something to talk about.
I'll just say I haven't got the results back yet. I think I'm expecting them today or tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Tell us your blood
Do you
story,
know-
Jamie.
Well, no. Let's talk about your blood testing more. Do you know what in particular you're going to get numbers back for? Did you request this?
A
Or like,
whole
what exactly?
plethora of things. So, cholesterol, vitamin D, a bunch of other vitamins. I mean, it was a fasting thing, so blood sugar stuff. Yeah.
It was a fasting thing. What does that mean? You were supposed to not eat for a day before them?
Right, or like 12 hours before. And it just so happened, like,
Okay.
I didn't actually plan to go and get a blood test. I was at the doctor's just for a regular checkup. And then they were like, yeah, we can get, if you want, you can do a blood test. And I was like, actually, I haven't eaten since last night, so let's do it. Yeah.
So I donated the other day.
Yeah.
It was my 28th blood donation here. I used to donate a little bit when I was in Vegas, but it was under a different company or whatever. So I don't have the data combined. I probably did about 10 there. So I guess now I'm up to about 38 total. But while I was there in the little refreshment area afterwards, a guy was talking to one of the women who worked there, and she looked him up on the computer, and she said, "Oh my God, you're a member of the Century Club. I've never actually looked up somebody that is before. This guy has donated over 100 units of blood, unit being just one blood donation there, which was amazing to me. I feel like I'm constantly donating, and I'm still only at about,
Yeah.
I'm guessing 38, 28 here, and then about 10 before I moved here.
So once
I'm
every like 6
relatively-
weeks, you can donate.
We can do it every 8 weeks here in America. And so I did the math. If he only did 100, which presumably he's somewhere north of 100,
Yeah.
it would have taken him about 15 and a half years of doing it every single 8 weeks on the day to get to 100 donations. So that's very impressive.
That's amazing. Yeah. He would approve of the end of our podcast when you tell people to go donate blood.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it appeared as though he had his son there donating as well. Although I can't be sure that he was his progenitor. That was my assumption on the nature of their relationship. Did I use that word right? Progenitor? I think so.
I don't know.
I think it's like a fancy word for offspring.
I'm sure we've spoken about this before, but I can't remember. What about donating plasma? Is that something that you can do, or they accept?
Yeah, we can do plasma. We can do double red.
And is it the same 8 weeks?
Platelets.
Because in Australia, I
No.
think plasma, it's like every 2 weeks you can donate.
They're all sort of different as far as double blood is the only one I can tell you off the top. Double red, I'm sorry, is the only one I can tell you off the top of my head. That's every 16 weeks, so it's twice as long of a wait. As far as platelets and plasma, I don't know off the top of my head what the waiting time is for them.
I'm at least in Australia, I'm pretty sure it was much shorter. And then because we used to have these bets or like this system going where we'd pay each other for all sorts of stuff, one of which was donating blood. And I remember like I could go like way more frequently than you, and you were like, it's not fair, but I don't care enough, and people are getting blood.
It really wasn't fair.
Yeah.
Especially because the way that the system was structured, that was like one of the most incentivized activities. Anyway, it's funny you mentioned that. I listened to a podcast the other day that talks about the way dopamine works in our brain and guides motivation and procrastination and all this stuff. And one of the things that the podcast host was saying was like things that you're doing that are good or that, you feel good about doing, blah, blah, blah. Like you really don't want to stack other incentives on top of them because that'll really ruin your blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh shit. Roy and I thought we were brilliant, but apparently we were not.
I still feel like we were brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, there was pros and cons to it, I guess.
Yeah. We can wrap this episode up early.
We're going to wrap it up soon because we have nothing at all to talk about. But you said you were going for a regular checkup. I have my regular checkup, I think, scheduled for like the 18th of the year or whatever, booked a year in advance. And then a week and a half before, they're like, sorry, the doctor's got a very important meeting that day. We're going to have to reschedule. I was like, fuck you.
God.
Are you kidding me? I have not rescheduled yet, but I got to do that. That you reminded me.
That's ridiculous.
By bringing yours up.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
It feels ridiculous. And they were also very vague about the nature of this very important meeting that he has to go to. Can't he go? No, I can't go to the meeting. I already have something. I have because I'm not doing things that day because I already had this planned. Why does that not apply to the doctor? I guess because he's more important.
Yeah. His time is worth more than yours in their system. Yeah.
Well, it's just in the nature of our relationship too. Like he's the one that's providing the insight, the professional insight. All right, let's do a fun thing for a giveaway. Because the people that listen to this expecting NFT content, they really deserve a chance to get something out of it. Yeah, rather than hearing me go, there's some tomato seedlings coming up, and you go, no, I only eat meat now.
All right. I am going to ask you 6 questions again.
Okay.
Question number 1. I shouldn't even ask.
Did we talk about our chess game yet?
We have not.
We played another chess game before the podcast, folks, and spoiler alert, I did lose this game, but it was not a game I should have lost. Roy was on the ropes immediately. I played a tricky opening that he was not prepared for, and I had a nice advantage. His king was not safe, and I just could not convert.
Yeah, I was on the back foot from like move 3. And
I'm disappointed in myself for losing that one.
I'm
the other one,
you too.
Yeah, we both are. I almost got to pull out the old. Do you realize it's your move though on move 3 when you took like 2 full minutes, just like I had done the other day. All right. Anyway, go on to these questions.
All right. Like question 1 and 2 is almost not worth saying, but I'll do it anyway. Question 1 is, what do NFTs commonly represent? A, invisible unicorns. B, digital art and collectibles. C, imaginary sandwiches. Or D, procrastinating penguins.
I'm familiar with pudgy penguins. I've never heard of procrastinating penguins. I'll say B.
That is correct. Question number 2. We're going to make these questions more difficult, Vitor. Question number 2. Where can you typically buy cryptocurrencies? A, at your local grocery store. B, from a cryptocurrency exchange. C, at the nearest bakery. Or D, from a vending machine.
I've seen vending machines that you can buy crypto from.
Typically, though, was in the question.
Typically, it would be B again, cryptocurrency exchanges.
That is correct. All right, now
this is where they get a little bit more difficult.
A little bit. This one is not going to be difficult for you, but for some people, maybe. Question 3. What is the primary purpose of a stable coin in the cryptocurrency market? A, to maintain a stable value, usually pegged to a fiat currency. B, to be used as a store of value, like gold. C, to fuel the growth of meme coins. Or D, to create volatility in the market.
I'll say A.
That is correct. All right, here we go. This one might trip you up. Well, either you know it or you don't. I guess it's one or the other. Question number 4. What is the supply of Tyler Hobbs' Fidenza collection? A, 420. B, 999. C, 1,000. D, 10,000.
I believe it's C, 1,000.
That is incorrect.
It's 999.
999.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you, the
I feel
last
like
one
we've
is
had this conversation before as well, where I'm like, it's
the last
you're
one's
like, no, it's
numbered
1,000.
what? The last
What's
one is
that?
numbered what?
I will look.
What
it
is
up
the
right
last
now.
one numbered?
I will look it up right
Because a
now.
lot of the art blocks projects, they start on 0, which is the artist mint.
Well, if you go to OpenSea, you type in Fidenza, it says 999 items.
Right, but did somebody burn one? Because that shit always happens. Some dumbass.
I don't think anyone burned a Fidenza.
There's been like multiple burned apes.
There have been, but I feel like we would.
I mean, I'm willing to accept that I'm wrong about it. I just am not super confident that I can trust you on this. Ugh, dang it. It says
The last
999
numbered one
items.
is 998.
God damn it. All right, I was wrong.
Mm.
That one's on me.
So let's make the password for the giveaway Fidenza. Fidenza.
With a capital F? You did?
No, all lowercase.
F-I-D-E-N-Z-A.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the name of like a town in Italy.
It is.
Has he ever said why he named it that?
I'm sure he has. I can't
I feel like
recall.
I've read plenty of interviews with him, but I never actually saw that. But I know that we've all Googled Fidenza and seen the second thing was like the Wikipedia for some little town.
Yeah.
He must have went there and liked it or something.
Probably. All right. I'm gonna go eat some ribs.
Thanks for listening. We'll try and have a better episode for you next week.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that more stuff happens in the NFT market between this week.
Yeah,
and
but
next week.
here's the thing. Because I'm not on Twitter anymore,
The onus is on me.
Well, if you want to do it that way, yeah, let's sure. I was actually going to say I'm going to have to do like actually read articles rather than just read the headlines of articles.
Mhm.
So I have more to go off of because again,
Yeah.
it really was my main source of information about what was going on in the space.
Yeah.
And now I just don't have it.
All right. Well, we'll see how we go next week.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks.